Nice meeting you again. You're welcome back to my channel. What I have today is how to cut a 3 plus 4 5 8 pieces skirt. That is what I call it. 3 pieces in the front and 5 pieces at the back, so making it 8 pieces skirt, a unique one. So if you are watching my tutorial for the very first time, like I do say, I welcome you to this channel. All you need to do is to click on the red subscribe button and always put on your notification bell to get access to my new video. And I promise you, if you watch this video to the end, you will really benefit. Thanks for watching. Now we shall be working on 3 measurements, which is the length of this skirt, the waist of this skirt, and the hip of this skirt. Now, coming to the length of this skirt, the length for this skirt is 39. I'm going to add 1 inch extra for the folding. Now, for the base, that is the wideness of the pieces, I'm making it 17 inches for the wideness. Depend on what you want. You may extend yours. Yours may be 18. Yours may even be 20. So, but the standard one is between 16 and 17 inches. So, I will be using 17 inches for the base of the pieces, or the pieces, right? Yes. So I'm going to cut right now. I'm going to cut 17 inches, and that same 17 inches is what I shall be using also to cut both the waist, to work on the waist and even the hip. So I'm going to fold it this way so that it will be easy for me to cut it out. So this first one I'm cutting is the center piece of the front panel. Now, like I said, 17 inches. Can you see? So that is what I shall be cutting out first. I will also go to this place, to the edge here. I mark my 17 inches. So the next thing is to connect these 2 lines together. Having connected the lines, I will now cut it out. Now I've cut out the 17 inches as the base of these pieces. Can you see? 17 inches. So the next thing I shall be doing is to fold it into 2 equal parts, like so. Having folded it, I'm going to measure my 40 inches as the total length for this skirt. 40 inches. So I'm going to connect this line so that I can remove the excess fabric from here. So I will now cut. To remove the excess. We trim this off. So this is the length, 40 inches. Can you see? 40 inches. So I will now start the cutting properly. So the hip of this skirt is 36 inches. So I'm going to divide. Now the hip is 36 inches, right? I'm going to divide that 36 inches by 2 because I'm working on the front panel. So 36 inches divided by 2 gives me 18 inches. So that 18 inches, I shall be dividing 18 inches by 3 pieces. So 18 divided by 3 gives me 6 inches. But because this fabric is on fold, so I'm going to divide that 6 inches by 2. So 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. So I shall be marking 3 inches as the width of these pieces, or of this piece. 3 inches. I mark my 3 inches down to the new line. But in getting the new line, the total length of this piece is 40 inches. And I'm going to divide this 40 inches by 2, which gives me 20 inches. So 20 inches minus 2 gives me 18 inches. So this 18 inches is going to serve as my new line for this particular skirt. So I have my 18 inches here. So coming down to my 3 inches of the width, I will mark 3 inches down to the new line, like I said. So can you see? 3 inches, 3 inches. So I'm going to connect these lines up to this, down to this new line. So I've connected the lines. Now, having connected this line, the next thing is to make from that new line, I shall be making a slant line to this edge here. Can you see the way I place my ruler? In a slant or slanted form. So I'm going to make that line up to the new line. So can you see it? See, from the base slanted, then coming from the new line straight up to this edge. So I'll be cutting it out right now. Like I said, if you have not subscribed my channel, you can do that now. Just click on the red button, the subscribe red button. Then you put on your notification bell so that you won't miss some other tutorials, new tutorials I shall be posting or making. Now, having cut it out, I'm going to keep it aside, and I'm going to measure another 17 inches in 2 places. So 17 inches and another 17 inches. Now, so it means 17 inches in 2 places. I'm going to be cutting out 34 inches altogether. So I have my 34 inches right here. $34, and I will also come to this edge. I mark 34 inches. The essence is just for me to get a straight line. So I shall be connecting these 2 lines together so that I will have a straight cut. So having connected the lines, the next thing is for me to cut it out. So I've cut it out. So I'm going to slash it into 2 so that I want it in pieces. 17 pieces. 17 inches pieces. So I'm going to split it into 2 equal parts. Let me quickly remove the excess from the length. 40 inches is our total length for this skirt. So I mark my 40 inches first because I wouldn't want the excess to be in pieces. So that's why I quickly want to remove the excess first before I finally cut it into 2 equal parts. So I'm going to cut it into 2. So having cut it into 2, I'm going to fold it like this. Can you see? I'll make it gives me equal. It places on each other. So right now I will take the first piece, that is the center front piece, I will place it on it like so. So I'm going to lay it on it like this. And I'm going to cut from this base up to the new line. So, having got to the new line, I will stop there. I will now take this off and open this. I will open this like this. Now, having opened it, I'm going to cut this side straight upward, giving me a straight line. If your fabric has a stripe, you wouldn't need to mark it out before you finally cut it out. I will just trace that stripe on my fabric, and that is what I've just done. So the next thing right now is to pick the center front piece. I'm going to lay it like this. Can you see? I've made sure that it lays properly. One is not longer than the other. So exactly. So I will now start my calculation. Now, before I even start the calculation, I'm going to mark 1 inch. From this edge, I'll mark 1 inch inward first, like this. 1 inch, up to this new line. I'll mark 1 inch, or I may just extend the 1 inch to the base. Preferably, I will extend the 1 inch to the base like that. So I'm going to use my ruler to connect the lines from the edge up here down to the to the base of these pieces. So I have to make sure it's 1 inch. It must not exceed 1 inch. So down to the base. Now the next thing I shall be doing is to calculate my waist, the waist of this skirt first, of the front panel. Remember, this we are still working on the front panel of this skirt. Now the waist is 30 inches. And 30 inches, because we are working on the front panel, I will have to divide that 30 inches by 2 first. So 30 inches divided by 2 gives me 15 inches. Now it is the 15 inches I shall be calculating on this front panel for the waist. So I will first measure. After I've deducted 1 inch from here, I will measure what I have left. Now this 1 inch I mark here is serving 2 purposes. It's serving the seam allowance purpose, and it's also serving the stripe I will apply on the outer part of this skirt at the end of everything. So the remaining fabric I have left, I have 2 inches left. So but because the fabric is unfold, so that 2 inches I'm going to multiply it by 2. So 2 inches by 2 gives me 4 inches. So I shall be deducting that 4 inches from the 15 inches. So 15 minus 4 gives me 11. So I'm going to work my 11, placing it after the line, the 1 inch I've marked. So 11. Now you remember that this one is 2 pieces, that is for the 2 sides of the front panel. So that 11 inches I shall be dividing it by 2 again. So 11 inches divided by 2 gives me 5.5 inches. So I shall be marking my 5.5 inches right here. So on the waist, 5.5 inches. So plus 1 inch as my seam allowance. That is that on the waist side of this front panel. Now coming to the hip side, I'm going to measure 7.5 inches right from the edge here. 7.5 inches, I have it here. Now let me extend the line, or I place it right here to get my 7 inches downward. I have it here. Can you see? That is the line. Now I work on the hip measurement. Now remember, the hip measurement or the hip circumference of this skirt is 36 inches. Now 36 inches divided by 2, I have 18 inches. Now 18 inches, I shall be subtracting 4 inches from 18 inches first, and 18 inches divided by minus 4 gives me 14 inches. So 14 inches, because it's 2 pieces, I shall be dividing that 14 inches by 2. So 14 divided by 2 gives me 7 inches. So I'm going to place my tape rule right on the line of the 1 inch I first marked as my seam allowance. So I shall be marking 7 inches. So I have my 7 inches here. Plus 1 inch as my seam allowance. Now coming to the new line, what I got, the original measurement I got on the hip circumference is what I shall be deduct. I will deduct 1 from it. That would be, the remaining is for the new line circumference. So what I have on the nail, on the hip, I have 7 inches. So 7 inches minus 1 gives me 6 inches. So I shall be marking my 6 inches right here, plus my 1 inch seam allowance, so the next thing is to connect the lines together, after which I cut it out. So, having connected the lines, I'm going to cut it out. So we are through with the front panel of this skirt. Now the next thing I shall be doing right now, the 1 inch which I have here, I just transfer it to this place, because this is where it's going to be useful, this place. So I transfer the 1 inch up to the nail line here. Now we are coming to the back panel of this skirt, and the base will also maintain 17 inches. That is the wideness at the base, 17 inches. So I shall be cutting 17 inches because the back panel, please, the back panel, you remember, is 5 pieces. So the 5 pieces, the base of the 5 pieces won't be 17 inches this time around, because you can see that the pieces is more than the front panel. So the base of the pieces of the back panel is going to be 10 inches. So I shall be cutting out 10 inches in 5 places. So I will first cut 10 pieces, 10 inches in 2 places. So I shall be cutting 20 inches first. That is the first 2 pieces of the 5 pieces of the back panel. So I shall be cutting 20 inches first. So I have my 20 inches here. So coming to this place, I mark my 20 inches as well. So I will connect the lines and cut it out. Like I say, it's a unique skirt. It's not the type you have 4 in the front and 4 at the back. No, this one is a unique 8 pieces skirt 3 pieces in the front and 5 pieces at the back. So I'm going to cut it out right now. So we shall quickly work on this. I shall quickly work on this. So you remember that this 20 inches is for 2 pieces of the 5 pieces at the back. Remember, I said the base of each of these pieces is 10 inches. Can you see? I have my 10 inches. So, having folded it like this, then I will refold it again, like so. The length is still 40 inches, the total length. So I'm going to quickly take the excess from this length. I have 40. It's 40. So let me quickly remove the excess on the length. Okay, now the first thing I shall be doing is to work. Let me quickly work on the new line first. Remember, we have calculated the new line, how we got the new line of the front panel. So it's 18. In order not to waste time, it's 18 inches. So I'm going to quickly mark my 18 inches here. So now the hip of this skirt, like I said, is 36 inches. But because we are working on the back panel, we have to divide the 36 inches by 2 first. So 36 divided by 2 gives me 18 inches. So 18 inches divided by 5 pieces. Whatever I get will be the width for this side here, from the up to the new line. So 18 inches divided by 5 is what I shall be putting there. So I shall be marking 1/3. 1/3 is less than 2 inches. 1/3 1/3 down to the new line. So I will connect these lines. So, having connected the line down to the new line, I'm going to make a slant line right from the new line to the base here. Can you see? So, I'm going to cut. So I'm going to open like so. So I'm going to take one piece out of this to cut the central piece of the back panel, but I'm going to be extending it by 1 inch because of the zipper allowance. Can you see? Instead of making the base of this one 10, I've decided to make it 11 because of the zipper allowance. So I'm going to fold it into 2 equal parts like so. I haven't folded it like this. I'm going to take one of these pieces, one of the 2 pieces I cut first. I will place it on it like this. So I'm going to leave half an inch. So half an inch. So can you see? This is the way it will be. This space here is for the zipper allowance. So I will now cut, tracing the shape and cut it out. Yes. Now I've used it to cut it out. The next stage is to cut the 2 sides that makes it 5 pieces. Now this one is the 2 sides of the back panel, and it's 10-10, but I've cut it together. So I'm going to place it, fold it into 2 equal parts and refold it again. Like so. So I'll place one of the pieces of the back panel, that is one of the center pieces of the back panel is this. Now I'm going to place it right on it, like so. It's not, if it doesn't want to lie very well, you can use your pin to hold it so that it won't give you any stress. So I've laid it on it. So I'm going to quickly mark the new line, that is 18 inches. This is my 18 inches for the new line. Now I'm going to mark less than 1 inch, which is going to serve as my seam allowance and the stripe. Shall be marking it right to the base, that is to the end of this fabric, right to the base, less than 1 inch. Now, having marked the less than 1 inch out, the next thing is to calculate the waist of the back panel circumference. The waist circumference of the back panel. So I have the waist to be 30 inches. Now I'm going to divide that 30 inches by 2, which gives me 15 inches. So 15 inches right now is what I have to calculate. Now the remember is 3 pieces I have. This one here on top of the 2 sides of the back panel is 3 pieces, but I just want to use 1 piece out of it, but it's 3 pieces. We should bear it in mind. So I'm going to measure right from the line, this line. I shall place my tape rule like so. I want you to see clearly. Shall place my tape rule like so on this line. Remember this one, this space here, this less than 1 inch here is serving 2 purposes. One is serving the purpose of seam allowance, and is also serving the purpose of stripe in the front of the skirt. You will see. So I will place my tape rule right on that line, and I measure what I have left on this piece. Now I have 1.5 inch. Now this 1.5 inch, remember, this one is on fold. So 1.5 inch times 2 gives me 3 inches. But because this one here is 3 pieces, so it's 3 times 3, so which gives me 9 inches. Now that 15 inches for the waist, I shall be subtracting 9 from it. So I have 15 minus 9 gives me 6 inches. So it's the 6 inches I'm left with to work on the 2 sides of the back panel. Now I have 6 inches, remember. So I'm going to place it right on that line again. But because the 2 sides I'm working with, so that 6 inches I will be dividing it by 2 again. So I will eventually have 3 inches. So I shall be marking my 3 inches right here. I have my 3 inches here. Can you see? From this place to this place, 3 inches. Can you see? So plus 1 inch as my seam allowance. So I have it here. So coming to the waist, I mean the hip rather, coming to the hip, I will first measure 7.5 inches downward. So let me place it on this line, 7.5 inches. I have it here. Okay, so it's on this line that I shall be marking or getting my hip measurement. So I'm going to place it here. Let me make it straight so that I won't make any mistake. Yes. So for the hip is 36. 36 divided by 2 gives me 18 inches. Now I have it, what I calculated here is what is applicable here, 9 inches. So I shall be subtracting that 9 inches from 18 inches. So 18 minus 9 gives me 9 inches. But because this one is 2, so 9 inches divided by 2, I have 4.5 inches now. So I shall be marking my 4.5 inches. Sorry. I will have to open this. I'm very sorry. I will have to go over it again. Let me go over it again. See, this is one of the 3 pieces I have at the back. So I'm going to, the first thing I have to do here is to place it on it like so, and I will cut it out, cut this shape up to the new line first. That's the first thing I have to do. I'm sorry for the mistake. So remember, this is still the back panel of this skirt. So I'm going to use this one piece to cut out the base part of the 2 sides of the back panel. Now up to the new line here, I will stop. So I'm going to open this. I will open it so that I can have access to open it wide, so that it will be easy for me to open it wide. That's just the essence of slitting this one like so. Now I will remove this first, then I will open. Can you see? Haven't opened it. I'm going to slit this up to the edge here to give me a straight line. So after that, I will now place one of the pieces at the center of the back panel, and this is one of the pieces. Now place it right on it like so. This space here is less than 1 inch. This place is less than 1 inch. So it's serving the purpose of seam allowance. Now I'm going to calculate the waist circumference. Now I'm going to place my tape right here. You see here I have 1.5 inches here. Remember, it's on fold, so I'm going to multiply that 1.5 inch by 2. So 1.5 inch which I have here times 2 gives me 3 inches. Now because this one is 3 pieces, so it's going to be 3 inches times 3, which gives me 9 inches. But the half of the circumference of the waist is 15 inches. So I shall be deducting this 9 inches from the 15. So I have 6 inches. And 6 inches divided by 2 gives me 3 inches. So I shall be marking my 3 inches. And it's right here. I have my 3 inches here. Plus 1 inch seam allowance. I have it right here. Then coming to the hip, I'll place my tape right here. I measure 7.5 inches. So the hip is 18, that is half of the circumference of the hip is 18 inches. 18 inches minus 9 inches, I have 9 inches. Now that 9 inches divided by 2 gives me 4.5. So I shall be marking my 4.5 right here. I have my 4.5 here, plus 1 inch seam allowance. I have it here. So coming to the nail line, that is nail line 18 inches. Have it here. So the original calculation on the hip, I have it 4.5. So 4.5 minus 1, I have 3.5. So I shall be marking 3.5 plus 1 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to connect right now. Then you will discover that there's a little space here. So what I'm going to do to bridge it is to reshape the base. I'm going to reshape the base to give me a perfect slant curve or line. So I have it like so. So I'm going to cut. So we have finally come to the end of the cutting section of this tutorial. Now this is a lining, it's going to be a lining skirt. All I need to do is to place it on my lining. All the pieces, I'll place it right on the lining and cut it out, including the tail. So that is that on the cutting aspect. Now the joining aspect, I will show it to you. Yes, so far so good. We have come to the end of this tutorial. Here is our final the end product of this 8 pieces skirt, which I call 3 + 5 8 pieces skirt. Now this is the front panel where I have my 3 pieces, 1, 2 and 3, and then so beautiful. And the stripe, I told you, this is it, making it beautiful, even more beautiful. Now this is the back panel where I have my 5 pieces. So this is the first piece, the second piece, this is the fourth piece where I fix, this is the third piece, first, second, third, and this is where I fix my zipper. This is the fourth piece, then this is the fifth piece, and also you can see, so nice, so beautiful. So that is that for this tutorial. If you like my video, please subscribe if you have not subscribed before. And for those of you that have subscribed to my channel, appreciate my work by clicking on the liking button. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all. Bye for now.